Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question that cuts deeper than most are ready to answer. What do you do when the greatest enemy you're facing is your own mind? Not the haters, not the critics, not even the setbacks, but your own thoughts. What do you do when your biggest opponent is the voice inside that keeps whispering, "You're not enough"? This is not just another motivational speech. This is a wake-up call. Because too many people are losing battles they never talk about. They're waking up each day in a silent war. With fear, with doubt, with anxiety, with the inner critic that never sleeps. And here's the truth. You can fake strength on the outside all you want, but if you're falling apart on the inside, the world will eventually see it. You smile in pictures, you post the highlights, you laugh in conversations, but when the noise fades and you're alone with your thoughts, that's when the real fight begins. And the scariest part, nobody else sees it, nobody applauds you for fighting it. But you fight anyway, every single day. This battle isn't glamorous. It won't get you trophies. There's no spotlight, no cheering crowd. But it's the most important battle you will ever fight, because it determines everything else. Your relationships, your confidence, your goals, your future. All of it is shaped by what goes on in that space between your ears. Let me make one thing clear. You are not weak because you struggle with your thoughts. You are human. Every single one of us has a voice inside that tries to hold us back. It tells us we're not ready. It reminds us of our past. It convinces us to stay comfortable, quiet, and small. But that voice, that enemy within, only wins when you stop fighting back. So today we draw the line. Today we say enough is enough. Because you were not born to live as a prisoner to your own mind. You were born to rise, to conquer, to lead. But none of that happens until you learn how to fight and win the battle within. This speech, this message, is about more than motivation. It's about equipping you with the mindset, the strength, and the clarity to take back control. To stop believing every lie your mind tells you. To stop replaying the pain of the past. To stop shrinking when you were born to expand. Because when you win in your mind, the world outside has no choice but to follow. So, buckle up. Get honest. Get uncomfortable. And most of all, get ready. Because the fight has already begun. And it's time to fight back. Fighting your own thoughts. The invisible battle begins. Let me tell you something that most people are too afraid to admit. The hardest battle you will ever fight is not against another person. It's not against failure. It's not against criticism. And it's not even against circumstances. The hardest battle is the one that happens inside your own mind. Every single day. Every single minute. You can look calm on the outside. You can post pictures smiling, looking successful, looking strong. But deep down, when the lights go off and the world gets quiet, you're left alone with your thoughts. And that's where the real fight begins. It's the fight between your dreams and your doubts, between your confidence and your insecurities, between your potential and your fear of failure. And let's be real, it's exhausting, because your mind can be your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. Sometimes, before your day even begins, you've already lost the fight. You open your eyes and the thoughts come rushing in. You're not doing enough. You'll never make it. Why are you even trying? You haven't even had breakfast yet, and your own mind is attacking you. You're already tired, not because life is too hard, but because the weight of your thoughts is crushing your spirit. But here's what I want you to understand right now. That voice inside your head is not the voice of truth. It's the voice of fear. It's the echo of every moment you were rejected. Every time you were made to feel small. Every failure that tried to convince you you're not worthy. But listen to me, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And just because a thought shows up doesn't mean you have to believe it. You can challenge it. You can fight it. You can replace it. Because this is your mind, your battlefield. And if you don't take control of the war inside, you'll lose the peace outside. The truth is, no enemy outside of you can defeat you, unless you've already surrendered inside. You don't need the world to believe in you. You need to start believing in yourself. You've got power you haven't even tapped into yet. And that power begins the moment you stop letting your thoughts bully you. The moment you choose to speak back to the doubt. The moment you say, I hear you, but I don't accept you. This fight isn't easy, but it's necessary. Because before you can win in the world, you've got to win in your mind, understanding the enemy within. Now that you know the battle begins in the mind, it's time to take a closer look at the enemy you're fighting. Because how can you defeat something you don't even understand? You see, not every thought you think is yours. Some of them were planted there by pain, by the past, by people who didn't believe in you. Some were shaped by trauma, by rejection, by years of being underestimated. And over time, those thoughts form patterns. Patterns that told you it's safer to stay small. Patterns that whispered, don't try because you might fail again. And now, those patterns have become habits. Mental habits that keep replaying the same lies over and over. But just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's true. Let that sink in. That voice that tells you you're not good enough, it isn't the voice of reality. It's the voice of fear wearing a disguise. It pretends to protect you. It says, don't put yourself out there, you'll get hurt. It says, stay quiet, don't draw attention. It says, you're not like them, you don't have what it takes. But that voice doesn't want your success, it wants your silence. And it will keep you stuck if you let it. That's why self-awareness is your first weapon. You've got to become aware of the thoughts you're thinking and ask yourself, where did this come from? Who gave me this belief? Is this thought helping me grow or holding me back? The moment you start questioning your thoughts is the moment you start gaining power over them. Because if you don't control what you think, your thoughts will control what you become. Think about it. If you feed your mind fear, you'll move with hesitation. If you feed your mind doubt, you'll live in limitation. But if you feed your mind faith, discipline, and truth, you will move differently. You'll begin to walk with intention. You'll start standing taller, speaking louder, dreaming bigger, because the thoughts you choose to entertain shape the future you're about to create. You must realize something powerful. Your thoughts are not permanent. They're not fixed. They can be changed. They can be trained. Your mind is a garden. If you water it with self-love, self-discipline, and faith, it will bloom with purpose and passion. But if you allow weeds of negativity to grow, they will choke every dream before it has a chance to rise. So today, make a decision to stop being passive. 2. Stop letting every negative thought settle in like it belongs. Challenge it. Rebuild your inner world with the truth. Because this is not just about thinking better, it's about living better. You are not a prisoner to your mind. You are the master of it. And once you understand the enemy within, you're already halfway to winning the war, training your mind like a warrior. Once you understand that your thoughts are not fixed, that they can be challenged, rewired, and replaced, the next step is training your mind like a warrior, because no warrior enters battle without preparation. No fighter steps into the ring without discipline. So why should you fight the most important battle of your life, the battle inside your own mind, without a strategy? The truth is, most people live on autopilot. They let their thoughts run wild. They wake up and immediately scroll through their phones, absorbing negativity before they even get out of bed. They don't realize that their mental habits are setting the tone for everything: their focus, their emotions, their decisions, and ultimately, their future. But not you. Not anymore. You've already chosen to fight. Now it's time to train. Start by mastering your mornings. The way you start your day is the way you shape your mind. Feed your thoughts with something strong, something real. Read something that uplifts you. Speak affirmations out loud, even if you don't fully believe them yet. To tell yourself, I am capable. I am focused. I am not my past. I'm becoming who I was meant to be. These aren't just words. They are weapons. And the more you use them, the sharper they get. Next, pay attention to your environment. Because what you surround yourself with, you become. If you're always around people who speak fear, you'll start to doubt. If you're constantly exposed to negativity, your mind will begin to echo it. So cut the noise. Turn off the voices that don't feed your growth. Use friends, books, music, and content that challenge you to rise, not settle. Then, learn to sit with your thoughts in silence. That's right, silence. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but silence is where clarity is born. It's where you confront what you've been running from. Meditate, journal, or pray. Let the chaos settle, because only in the stillness can you begin to hear your true voice. Not the voice of fear, not the voice of self-doubt, but the voice of your soul. And remember, repetition is key. You can't expect your mind to change overnight. You've been thinking certain ways for years. Now it's time to create new patterns. And that means showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Mental strength isn't built in comfort. It's forged in resistance. Every time you push back against a limiting thought, you grow stronger. Every time you choose faith over fear, you get sharper. Every time you rise instead of retreat, you become unstoppable. Train your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Your peace depends on it. Your purpose depends on it. The mental habit. Your future depends on it. You're not just fighting to survive anymore. You're fighting to rise, to evolve, to win. And this battle would not be lost, not on your watch. Breaking the cycle of self-sabotage. One of the most dangerous battles you will ever face is not against the world outside. It's against the cycle you create within. It's the cycle of self-sabotage. The pattern where you start believing that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. And without realizing it, you start proving yourself right. You procrastinate on goals you deeply care about. You overthink every decision until you talk yourself out of it. You get close to success only to pull away right before the breakthrough. Why? Because deep down, something inside you still whispers you don't deserve it. That voice is the enemy. And if you don't break the cycle, you'll keep reliving the same pain, the same patterns, the same setbacks, over and over again. But here's the truth. Self-sabotage is not a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that something within you is afraid. I'm afraid of failing, afraid of judgment, afraid of stepping into an identity greater than the one you're used to. And fear disguises itself in many ways. It tells you to wait. It tells you to play small. It tells you that now is not the right time, that maybe next month, next year, next life, but never now. But listen to me. The only way to win this internal war is to stop negotiating with fear. Stop reasoning with the part of you that only knows limitation. You must step into your higher self, even when the lower voice is louder. So how do you break the cycle? First, recognize your patterns. Become aware of when you're holding yourself back. Notice the excuses. Observe the way you talk to yourself. That awareness is the first crack in the armor of self-sabotage. Next, challenge your inner critic. Every time it says you can't, respond with, watch me. Every time it says you're not ready, answer, I'll never grow if I don't begin. You must train your mind to argue for your greatness, not your limits. Then replace perfection with progress. You're not going to get everything right the first time, and you're not supposed to. Growth is messy. Healing is uncomfortable. But it's in those messy, uncomfortable moments that transformation takes place. And finally, take action. Small, consistent action. You don't have to conquer the mountain today. You just have to take one step. Because that one step breaks the pattern. That one decision says, I'm done living on repeat. I'm ready to move forward. Every time you act in spite of fear, you reclaim power. Every time you silence the doubt and take a leap anyway, you shatter the old story. You are not your past. You are not your fear. You are not your mistakes. You are a warrior. And warriors rise, even when they're scared. Break the cycle. Reclaim your mind and become everything you were meant to be. Becoming the master of your mind. You've come this far when you've recognized the enemy isn't out there, it's in here. You've faced the negative thoughts, challenged the lies, and begun to break the cycle of self-sabotage. But now comes the most powerful transformation of all, becoming the master of your mind. Because if you don't control your thoughts, they will control you. Your mind is like a garden. You can plant seeds of strength, confidence, peace, and purpose. But if you leave it untended, weeds of fear, doubt, and insecurity will take root and grow wild. That's why mastering your mind isn't a one-time act. It's a daily decision. It's a lifelong commitment. You must choose every single day what thoughts you will water and what thoughts you will starve. That voice that says you're not enough, starve it. That thought that says why even try, silence it. That fear that says you'll fail like last time, replace it with even if I fail, I'll rise stronger. You must train your mind the same way a champion trains their body, with discipline, repetition, and intention. And don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for a perfect moment where everything feels easy and clear. That moment may never come. Discipline is more powerful than motivation, because discipline shows up when motivation disappears. Wake up each day and remind yourself of who you are becoming. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Visualize it with intensity. Your future self depends on the work you do today, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. Understand this. You will still have bad days. You will still wrestle with doubt. You will still feel fear creeping in. But the difference now is you know how to fight. You're no longer at the mercy of your mind. You've learned how to take the thoughts captive and redirect them toward growth. This is how peace is built. Not by avoiding the chaos, but by becoming stronger than it. Not by shutting off your mind, but by teaching it how to serve you instead of sabotage you. And here's the truth you must never forget. You are the thinker of your thoughts. You are the author of your story. You get to decide what stays and what goes, what rises and what falls, what defines you and what no longer has power. You don't need to be perfect to take control. You just need to be committed. So breathe, stand tall, and remind yourself you've survived every battle so far. You've made it through storms you thought would break you. You've risen every time life knocked you down. Now it's time to rise mentally, to become the master of your mind, to take back your peace, to take back your power. Because the war within ends when you decide it does. Victory is yours the moment you choose to own it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've walked through the battlefield of the mind together, through the darkness, the doubt, the silence, and the struggle. And now, as we bring this message to a close, let me leave you with a truth that could change everything. You have always had the power to win this battle. You just had to wake up to it. Understand this, your mind is not your enemy, it's your territory. And like any territory, if you don't protect it, if you don't patrol it, if you don't cultivate it, something or someone else will. Whether it's the voice of your past, the echo of your failures, or the fear passed down by others, those thoughts only take root when you stop defending your mental ground. You've got to become the guardian of your mind, ruthless with negativity, relentless with discipline, and loyal to your growth. Every time you confront a lie in your mind and choose truth instead, you win. Every time you speak life over yourself when your mind wants to speak defeat, you win. Every time you rise in the morning and choose action over excuses, you win. And I need you to hear this. You will not always feel strong. You will not always feel ready. You will not always feel like fighting. But strength is not about what you feel. Strength is about what you choose to do, especially when everything in you wants to quit. You were not made to surrender to fear. You were made to rise in faith. You were not made to be paralyzed by doubt. You were made to move with purpose. You were not made to be at war with yourself. You were made to be at peace with your power. So, no more shrinking, no more second guessing, no more living as a prisoner to the thoughts that were never meant to define you. The thoughts that tell you you're not enough, lie. The thoughts that say you'll never change, lie. The thoughts that whisper stay small, stay silent, stay scared, lie. And now that you know they're lies, you don't need to obey them. You need to replace them with thoughts that lift you, stretch you, and build you. Because your life will always follow the direction of your strongest thoughts. So train your thoughts like a warrior. Speak to yourself with courage, feed your mind with vision, and move forward. No matter how heavy the battle gets, you are not broken, you are becoming. You are not weak. You are in training. You are not losing, you're learning how to fight. This is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your breakthrough. So when the thoughts come for you, fight back. When fear knocks, stand tall. When doubt screams, speak louder. And never forget this, You were born to win the war within. So rise, fight, and conquer. Because victory begins in your mind. And today, you choose to win.